Hello, everybody. So we are live right now in one of the breakout sessions. There are three of this, and this is the breakout session about research and education. We had a great show, and we had an exciting overview about the potential of three of the main German energy regions for the future hydrogen economy. We had the Rhenish coal region, we had the central German coal region, and we had Lusatia, where I am. I am also in a university here. I'm in the BTU in Cottbus, actually. It's nearly 8 o'clock here in Europe, but we are still here for you to take time to answer your questions or to discuss with you if you have any comments. And I am very happy that I have with me in this question and answer session experts from every region. There is with me from the Rhenish coal region, Dr. Stefan Sterlepper. You can show a little bit, that's you. He is a chief engineer at the chair of thermodynamics of mobile energy conversion at the Aachen University. And he's also the managing director of the Hydrogen Cluster for Future, a 45 million euro flagship project founded by the Federal Ministry of Education and Research. Maybe if we have time, you can tell us a little bit more about this because it sounds really interesting. Then we have with us Professor Dr. Thomas von Unwerth. He is in the central German coal region and he has a lot of hats. He is the director of the Institute for Automotive Research and Advanced Powertrains at the Chemnitz University, where he's teaching students. He's also the chairman of an association called Tour2 in Saxony, and he is the founder and the CTO of the company Fuel Cell Powertrain, who has a Chinese investor, if I'm right.
Right.
And I'm also very happy to have with me Professor Dr. Mario Rackwitz. He's the director of the Fraunhofer Institute for Energy Infrastructure and Geothermal Systems here in Cottbus, and he worked before at the Fraunhofer Institute in Karlsruhe. So, just maybe you can, as I said, it was very interesting to hear about the project in the Rhenish coal region. Dr. Stefan Sterlepper, could you tell us a little bit more about this?
Sure. Yes. Hello, also from my side. Yeah. Good evening to the German listeners. Good time to the American regions. We here have a big flagship project, the Hydrogen Clusters for Future initiative, which is where we started in a German-wide competition, which is basically free for any topics. We started with the topic of hydrogen because we thought hydrogen is such an important topic, and this was for us a unique chance to tackle the full hydrogen economy with different sub-projects. So we are basically investigating in 11 projects different details of the hydrogen economy. So for example, we have a research project on electrolyzers, one on fuel cells, but also one on, for example, hydrogen combustion engines, or on hydrogen pressure tanks, or chemical production of methanol or hydrogen peroxide. And we have a the so-called project 11, High InnoSys, a non-technical project which puts the bracket all around the other ones, where we try to connect all of these. And I think that's also why we are here for, because we are gaining right now, which we have already, but which we are also progressing rapidly right now is so important, and hydrogen is actually not a new topic, and therefore the networking is probably one of the major tasks we have to do right now.
Yeah, if I'm right, there are really strong cooperations between the universities and the research institutes and the industry in every region. Professor Dr. Rakwitz, how does the Fraunhofer doing cooperation with the industry in your region, in Lusatia, how it works?
Yeah, maybe I would like to start generally with the DNA or the mechanism Fraunhofer works. We have a unique model in which we typically get 30% of our funding from state-based project and 30% from industry-based projects. So we always collaborate very intensely with industry, and Fraunhofer actually covers the whole value chain of hydrogen technologies. I'm also coordinating the Fraunhofer network with 35 institutes, and here in here in the region in Eastern Germany, we actually coordinate in particular infrastructure activity, and we strongly collaborate with, for example, gas TSOs, which now transform their gas pipelines into hydrogen pipelines. And we are coordinating the largest German research projects on hydrogen infrastructures. It's called the Transheit project with 85 partners and a monetary volume of 140 million euro, where we cover research on all aspects along the value chain of hydrogen transport, may it be liquid hydrogen, gaseous hydrogen in pipelines, or derivatives like ammonia. And here in the region, we particularly collaborate with industry on hydrogen system integration and system services from the energy sector. Also in the future, in a 100% renewable energy system, the electricity system will need secure power and system services like inertia, and particularly hydrogen-driven power plants will play a very important role. And we are testing that with large-scale, real-world laboratories in which hydrogen power plants are developed and tested. And I think that's really a development which will be very important for energy transition on a global level. We are here in the Eastern German region and Lusatia in particular a little bit in front of developments in Germany and in Europe, as we will have a carbon-free, fully 100% renewable energy system already in 10 years from now. And 10 years from now means that we really have to develop and upscale technology in order to integrate very high shares of renewable energies, and power plants based on hydrogen, which cover also periods in with low renewable energy generation, will be essentially important for that type of innovative modern energy systems. And that is where we collaborate with industry on a really broad range.
Yeah, thank you very much. The people are always shy to ask questions, and but I think they listen really carefully about what we are saying. Professor Dr. Thomas von Unwerth, you are working in a university, and you have a lot of students with you. Can you tell us a little bit when you started working on fuel cells in the university in Chemnitz? How did you develop your work with the students?
Yeah, very interesting is that nowadays, when I look at my lectures, I have 50 to 60 students roundabout each year, each semester, and many of them, or most of them, are coming to my modules concerning fuel cell and hydrogen technologies. We're also teaching, of course, let's say old school techniques like internal combustion engines. There we only find 20 to 30 students. So the new technologies, especially hydrogen, is a very, very interesting issue for them. And they know, of course, what means to develop some things for the future. I started 12 years ago here at Chemnitz, and I think we had a unique selling point then, those days, when I started my lectures on hydrogen and fuel cells, coming from the fuel cell itself, the thermodynamics, electrochemistry, all that's necessary to know about a fuel cell from the very scratch, up to the overall powertrain, because that is our main focus here in Chemnitz. Our main focus is the mobile application, not only. We also talk about hydrogen generation and hydrogen storage, of course, but the main issue is still the mobile application. And the overall powertrain is more than only the fuel cell. It's the hydrogen bottles in the car, it's the power electronics, it's an electric drive and all these issues. And yeah, as said, students are very interested in these topics these days. And yeah, they find, and that is the next interesting point, they find, they know that they will find some employment when they have their master's degree, because many of the small medium enterprises here around in Saxony and all over middle Germany are looking for these skilled employees, for these skilled young talents. And that is what we try to deliver them. And that is our unique point. We have, as a university, have to educate young talents, especially towards very new technologies like hydrogen.
Thank you very much, Thomas. It's really interesting to hear also that how about the students in Aachen?
Well, the students are very keen for the topic on hydrogen. So we offered a summer school first time last year, where the students can construct their own hydrogen city, their own hydrogen society. There are no limitations to the mind of the students. You can use air taxis inside your city or anything, and that actually led to a lot of creativity. And yeah, we have now quite a lot of students who want to register for the second summer school this year, and there we can also see the interest of the students. I think the students are changing their focus. They are more questioning, why should I do that? Yeah, so I think for hydrogen, we hardly ask the question why, because it's so obvious. We can use hydrogen to get rid of the CO2 emissions. But I think we need to repeat that again and again, that our focus is to get a sustainable energy system, and there hydrogen can be a major player, I think.
Yeah, thank you very much. If I'm right, there's also a strong cooperation between the Fraunhofer Institute and the university here, the BTU, isn't it?
Yes, you're completely right. We are intensely collaborating, not only on hydrogen technologies, of course, but also other technological sectors like modern sensor technologies and other sector coupling technologies like power to heat. But in particular in the hydrogen sector, we have a strong collaboration, for example, in the field of long-term planning of sector integrated hydrogen infrastructures and global markets for hydrogen, and modeling those markets, prices and costs for hydrogen technologies. Also in the field of storage, both for stationary and mobile applications, we collaborate strongly between different Fraunhofer institutes and the BTU in Cottbus. And I think that is a very fruitful approach, as more basic research aspects can be covered by the university, whereas Fraunhofer will transfer knowledge in collaboration with the university through industries and have a strongly applied research focus. And of course, we at Fraunhofer also have a high number of PhD students and master students which work in our projects, and that helps both the students and of course the university in the education and fulfilling their mandate. And of course, Fraunhofer benefits a lot from fresh ideas and innovations by PhD students and so on. And so, yeah, there are a couple of fields. Another field that will be one of strong collaboration is the hydrogen use in the electricity sector, providing system services by hydrogen power plants and building intelligent new operational strategies for power plants in a future energy system. And here we collaborate with different chairs at the university and are actually planning to construct one of the major hydrogen power plants that will be a key backbone of for providing security of supply in the future energy system.
Thank you very much. I think it's so interesting what we are discussing, that the people they don't need to ask questions because I do it. But then what I would like to ask you, how would you describe your role, your special role, because you are in a region, in a coal region, which is in a really transformation process. What from your point of view is the role from research and education there? Because these are really special regions. Thomas, could you say something about it?
Yeah, when we see our students and when we see our neighbor universities, TU Dresden and TU Freiberg, where we just signed a very close cooperation for the next years in terms of research and education, we're working, as said, definitely in a region that is under transformation, and a strong transformation. But what we see is that we came in the past from a, let's say, energy region, and now head towards an energy region, but on another basis, on the basis of hydrogen. And yeah, young people, young students, and their parents and grandparents see their home region as a typical energy providing region for Europe. And if they want to see this region the same way in the future, then they tell their grandchildren or their children to study not only mechanical engineering, doesn't matter which discipline in detail, but to study some issues on modern technologies, like I said, hydrogen technologies, because that is the future. And they can be a big part of transforming the old coal regions, the old energy regions into new hydrogen hubs. And I think that is an important part of the future.
Yeah, let's keep in mind the same question for the other people, but now the people they ask some question. I have a question from the United States. Do you have non-degree or shorter programs that helps workers transitioning from other fields to work in hydrogen? Up to you.
Yeah, when we look at our cluster, our H2 cluster in Saxony, we also do education for as trainee. We have trainee programs to try to show employers from small medium enterprises or bigger companies how to work with hydrogen, some issues about hydrogen safety, the fuel cell itself, electrolyzers, how they are built up, how they are working, what is the principle behind, and what to know, especially when servicing and maintaining these modules. This is what we do as a cluster. That is not with students, but with, as I said, employees from companies.
How about in the other regions? Do you have non-rookie or shorter programs that help workers transitioning from other fields to work in hydrogen? And after that, I have other questions for you.
I mean, Fraunhofer has the so-called Fraunhofer Academy, which actually is particularly directed and oriented towards those type of professional or professionals that just need an extra booster, let's say, for particular technologies. And so the Fraunhofer Academy is certainly one element we will offer here.
And how about in Aachen?
Yeah, well, we are working on different modules. So one we have already implemented is a very short 2 days crash course for people totally new to the topic of hydrogen, or who want to get insights, have maybe a general idea, but want to get a deeper look into the hydrogen topics. There we have 4 modules, each half a day, each taught by a different from a different perspective as a starter. And we are currently developing also very short course formats, like 3 to 5 days, where we then look on one detail of the hydrogen economy. And I think there we have a very low entry requirements, so basically everyone can jump in. We go through quite a lot of topic quite fast, and sometimes maybe too fast, but we have so much literature we can give the people at hand. And then again, in the end, it comes down to very specific questions, and then you need the context whom to ask. And I think those could be the 3 of us and many more.
Yeah, I think it's the question's also related because it's a transforming region, and to help the people to come from their old job to a new job, that they have to change also. It's not only the hydrogen can not only go from coal to hydrogen alone, you need also the people you have to go with you. There's another question. What do you think are the major challenges regarding the education around hydrogen? What are the major challenges for you? Start who wants.
Probably.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Yes, please go. No, go ahead.
I mean, one challenge is probably speed. We need to scale up the hydrogen economy, the manufacturing of electrolyzers, etc., in an acceleration and speed which is unprecedented so far, at least in an energy transition. It has to go faster than the photovoltaics evolution and scale up, and therefore we need really all levels, really for engineers, scientists, but also at regular apprenticeship level, well-trained persons, also for manufacturing hydrogen technologies. So we really need to attract a high number of students with high technical affinity, and at the moment the number of students in technical subjects in Germany and in Europe are rather decreasing. So in that sense, a strong interest into engineering aspects is very important, and probably again here international collaboration helps a lot. In here in Lutetia we have the experience that strongly collaborating really globally and attracting also students globally is one of the key issues, and the Brandenburg University of Technology is particularly successful in that respect, with a very high share of global student participation, and therefore I think that is important to really get a sufficient number of students in those engineering topics.
Thank you. Dr. Sterlepper.
Yes, I would go in a similar direction. I think I agree that what we need is speed. And now we need to train many students, but we need also to train the technicians, the electrical staff, and yeah, basically all different levels of industry workers. And there, I think one of the challenges right now is that there are no specific jobs in the hydrogen economy, or there are very few hydrogen related jobs. So I think I don't know of a single workshop, for example, which only deals with hydrogen cars, because there are so little. So it's challenging to have enough mechanics and to train them in that specific topic, to get them experience, so that they can also transfer their knowledge to the younger people. And I think here the speed issue is that we need to build up the new job positions, the new training programs, in parallel to building up the positions in the industry.
Fully agree to all the foresaid. Just to add, where we also need a very special training is, again, an example from the mobility sector. We need training for example, for firemen. We see nowadays electric vehicles on the streets, and a lot of firemen are already trained in working with them, and what happens if there's an accident, what to do then. We need emergency response guides for hydrogen fuel cell vehicles, for trains, for all the applications around with hydrogen. We need so-called emergency response guides, and what to do then and how to handle them. And this is also a challenge to find all the people, to train all the people that now, only with a few cars, a few mobile applications on the streets already, to handle all these issues. It's not that easy. And because we want to go into serious production, we want to see more and more applications on the streets, on the road, on rail, at homes, wherever we will see hydrogen in the future. And we need trained people. That is very important.
Thank you very much, Thomas. There's another question from the United States. Perhaps this is not relevant for Germany, but do you have national or internationally recognized credential specific for hydrogen? Do you have nationally or internationally recognized credentials specific for hydrogen? Or maybe it's not relevant for Germany. Maybe you know.
Of course. I mean, of course it's relevant. Germany is a technology-oriented country, and so credentials in hydrogen or in like technological development is absolutely essential. And like when looking, for example, at the 3 types of electrolyzers, alkaline and PEM electrolyzers and high temperature electrolyzers, I think German companies are world leading in all 3 technology types. So for alkaline, the largest projects being built in Saudi Arabia, for example, is equipped by German technologies, is really one of, or the largest electrolyzer project in the world at the moment for high temperature electrolyzers, which is particularly relevant for industrial hydrogen production, where waste heat. A German company is leading, by the way, developed close to the Lutetium region, and also for proton exchange membrane electrolyzers. There are a few German companies leading. This just as an example. I could really continue those examples also for hydrogen infrastructure, hydrogen integration, for example. and or the use of hydrogen in energy-intense sectors like steel industry or ammonia production. So that I think credentials. I don't know what exactly you mean by credentials, but of course, important reference projects, technology leadership proven, for example, by patent history, etc. That is absolutely key for German companies and existing in Germany, but here also in particular in the core regions.
Yeah, just also for all the people participating here in our breakout session, you can also contact our speakers directly because they're all listed in the speakers list. Dr. Sterlepper, Professor Unwert, and Professor Rackwitz. And I have another question from Malaysia. Do you have international collaboration for hydrogen transfer technology? Somebody would like to answer from the Rhenish core region or from the Central German core region?
Yes, indeed. We have international cooperations, and not only on transportation issues. For the overall value chain, we have, for example, a close collaboration with Australia. Eric May from the transportation platform from Australia. We're heading towards some very newly installed projects. We have close connections to, of course, Canada. Canada is one of the regions especially known for hydrogen and fuel cell technologies. Ballard is coming from there, 1985. Ballard was founded in Vancouver, so a very well-known region around that. And different other countries around the world are in collaboration with us, performing projects and, for example, performing international summer schools. We have in September next joint European summer school together with other partners in Athens. Each year in Athens, where we teach about hydrogen electrolyzers and fuel cells. And this is what we are doing internationally. And I think I have to underline that international collaboration is in terms of hydrogen, because it's a global issue, is so important.
Is it the same in Aachen?
Yeah, it's pretty similar. So first of all, in Aachen, I think that counts for the whole Rhinish region, we are so close to the Netherlands and to Belgium that we are more or less used to live the European way with open borders. So for my speaking for myself, it's almost closer to go to the next shopping market in the Netherlands than in Germany. So yeah, here the borders are blurring, and we have a lot of international cooperations. One example could be the master's program, the WASCAL with the African countries, where the Forschungszentrum, the research center Jülich is in lead, but in close cooperation with our university, RWTH Aachen, and also, for example, Australia and multiple others, also to the US. For example, in the mobile fuel cells, also to Asia a lot. So basically, we are well connected, but we are always interested in extending our connections. I think that's also one part which we are well known for, that we have that we are so close related to the industry. So coming back to our hydrogen clusters for future, just one lead project. We have 47 partners, industry partners. Most of them are regional and from Germany, but we also have international cooperations even in that one single project.
Yeah, sounds interesting. We have nearly finished our breakout sessions. May I ask you a last word to say, what's the USP of your university, of your research institute in your region? If you should tell somebody, come in our region, what would you tell him? Professor Rackwitz, would you like to start? Because we're in the same region right now.
Yeah, if you want to do real life research which is oriented and inspired by reality and actual applications, and want to meet really with a high number of researchers which cover hydrogen really along the entire value chain, then you should come and visit, of course, Fraunhofer laboratories, but also here the Brandenburg University of Technology, where we cover hydrogen technologies really from the electrolyzer introduction or integration into the energy system towards storage and applications also in mobile and stationary applications on a very broad range. And so we cover the development of stacks and catalyzers, for example, which really is at the fundamentals of the technology towards full large-scale applications, for example, tests and demonstration sites for hydrogen technologies. And such a strong research is embedded into a stable market environment. And I think that is very important. If you look at where innovations flourish, it's where technology push and market pull comes together. And I think this is the case here in Europe, in Germany, because we have very stable long-term decarbonization targets, and we have a very strong research and innovation policy. We have very talented engineers, and if you want to meet all of that together, then you should come to Lutetier and visit the labs at Fraunhofer all over Germany and here at Brandenburg University of Technology.
Yeah, thank you very much. I had a chance to visit all these regions, and they are all great, and they are all a little bit different. What would you like to say about the University of Aachen in the Rheinisch-Co region? What is the USP?
Yeah, well, so maybe starting with the Rheinisch region, we have quite a lot of small and medium enterprises in here. So I think that we have way more small companies than is common, for example, in the US. We have quite a lot of hidden champions, so market leader in their own sectors. And I think this is in here in our region because we have quite a strong research fundament where we do the whole range of research. For example, at RWTH Aachen, we have founded 2 years ago a new center on sustainable hydrogen systems, where by now above 50 professors work together on the different hydrogen topics, a highly interdisciplinary setup from all different areas, each of those a well-known expert in his field. And we, RWTH Aachen, are characterized by our very close relationship to the industry. So what we do is fundamental research and applied research at the same time. We do work for the industry, with the industry, so we know what they need, and we can do our fundamental research accordingly.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Sterlefer. And Professor Dr. Thomas von Unwert, how would you describe the USP from your region and from your university?
Our USP is three USP. One USP is that we are very international. We have 40% international students. We teach especially our lectures for hydrogen and fuel cells in German and English. So for Indian students, Chinese students, as well as US American students or wherever they come from. That is one point. We're really international. We have a close connection, that is the second point, to industry. That's the same, of course, for Aachen and other universities, but we have, with our network, more than 100 industry partners. where students have the chance to write their bachelor or PhD thesis or master thesis. We have close connections. As said, mobile application is a key issue. So we have close connections to the OEMs, to Daimler, BMW, and Volkswagen. So what they do there is they have also PhD students. We deliver them, the master students. So a lot of opportunities, and later on they mostly hire these students. It's very talented young people. And the third is that we are very tightly connected to our neighbor regions. We have a double degree master program for hydrogen and fuel cells together with France, Netherlands, and the Czech Republic. And a student can gain 2 master degrees if he or she absolves a very tough program. And I think these 3 unique selling points are worth to mention.
Thank you very much. It's time to finish for us today. Thank you very much to all these experts that you were with me, that you answered the questions from the public. I can invite you all because the platform will stay online and you can get in contact directly, personally with my experts. You find a profile on the platform, and especially I would like to invite you because the idea is that you become curious and that you would like to come to visit these places, that you would like to visit these regions. And there is also on the platform the possibility, there's the pre-registration for inbound. So the invitation is to be a part of a business trip next year through these regions, to come personally and to see how it works, how the universities work, how the research institutes work, and how they all work together in a network to build up a hydrogen economy. Thank you very much for being with me, Thomas, Stefan, and Professor Rackwitz, and wish you a nice evening. And thank you very much for this talk.
Bye, and have a nice evening.
Thank you.